Hello. It is about 1:30 in the morning, the night after Thanksgiving, and I've actually been on the phone for several hours with um, someone very special to me, the man who has been so motivational, the one I refer to as my muse. Um, and Um, he has been extremely um, important, and actually, he's probably the one that has been the catalyst that has gotten me um, motivated and inspired and to go for my dreams and not hold back. And you know, I've been doing that. I've been trying to be taking action. I've been listening to Brendan's work and his coach's work, and talk talking about confidence and how that we have to oftentimes, in order to be confident, we have to um, act that way, and build confidence, and uh, when we are unsure, when we feel vulnerable, um, not letting the insecurities or the fear of failure or the desire to be perfect, or planning until we are perfect, uh, waiting for those things before we take action. Um, and so I've been really trying to put into practice the things that I have been listening to and hearing, and challenging myself to take action and have my actions be in alignment with my words, and have my words be in alignment with what my goals are. And um, I've, because he has been so instrumental, and he has been my cheerleader, and because I do feel safe, um, especially with him. I take risks, and I have been more confident and things like that with him. And I'm 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 trying to hone a skill that, and make what right now I'm not very strong at, and it might, what is a weakness, and turn that weakness down, and have confidence in myself to build the skill that counteracts that weakness. Um, and one of the things that I um, have had to deal with in my life is, um, it's in my nature not to want to be a burden to people, um, especially those people who I feel, and I, right now, my dad is somebody who comes to mind right away. My father is the man that I admire. He's not only the man, he's the person I admire the most in my life. He um he is not my biological father, and he became my father when he was only 17 years old. And, when you're 17 is a grown up. And as an adult, I appreciate him and his sacrifices so much more. But a lot of who I am today, I can absolutely attribute to that man. One of the things that I witnessed my father going through is his whole life is he was the one who his entire family came to when they were struggling, whether they were struggling with addiction, whether they needed a place to stay because they fell on hard times or got divorced. He took care of my grandmother and supported her, and he has always been the one that everyone goes to. And as an adult, we've discussed it, and I have noticed where that it weighed on him, and it was something that he maybe never said to his family or the people who asked, that it did weigh on him. And I have always felt, as the eldest, that I fell into a very similar role, and that's how I have been treated, and that is how my family has treated me, to where I have supported and grew at a very young age, became responsible for my family in a lot of different ways, and they too have come to me when they have fallen on hard times, have had problems with their addiction, needed money, needed a place to stay. And I have always been there to do that, even if it was a burden to me, because I do want to help my friends and family. I do. I think I probably helped too much, which then led to me crippling them or disabling them, because in my doing for them, they never learned to do for themselves. I enabled them. And I know how much of an emotional, financial, physical burden it was that I kept to myself and didn't tell anybody. It may have come out in that I was irritable and angry and those kind of things, or it may come out that where they felt, I may have felt maybe a little bit like, well, if you're going to come to me for help, and can you at least do it my way, or that kind of thing. And so I would maybe be a little bit of a nag, or if I wasn't a nag because I didn't want to say anything, I would become irritated by the fact that I felt like I was being taken advantage of, but I didn't say anything. On the flip side, because I knew how stressed and how burdened I felt when people I loved and cared about asked me for help, and I said yes, I never got comfortable asking for help myself, because I didn't want to be a burden to the people that I love, namely my father, but also everybody came to me for help. I was supposed to be the one who had my shit together and knew what I was doing, and so I didn't want them to see that it I didn't know what I was doing, and I was really stressed out, and really that money that I gave to you to help you out, I didn't have. I had to take a loan out on it, or I didn't pay a bill for that, and it really stressed me out. But I couldn't let you know that because you were coming to me for help, and I wanted to be that support. As I've gotten older, I realized that it takes a lot of strength to ask for help. It also takes a lot of humility, and I admit that I had a lot of pride. Oftentimes it was a lot of pride in not asking for help, and not pride in a good way. And so over the course, over the last couple of years, in really focusing on myself and my personal growth and seeing where I have developed bad habits, I have really made an effort to ask for help. But I've also feel like I don't want to ask for help unless it's absolutely necessary. And I haven't been really good in the past in asking for help in a timely manner, because I'm still trying to figure out how to make it work myself. And oftentimes that delay in asking for help and trying to figure out how to do it for myself has resulted in me getting into a worse situation for myself, to where now that I need to ask for help, I'm actually asking for more. Where if I would have asked when I first realized I needed help, it wouldn't have been as big of an ask. And I mean, I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm trying to be aware. On the flip side, here lately, I have really been, so many of the podcasts that I'm listening to right now are on having confidence and being bold and taking the steps, because you cannot be successful without making moves and having the confidence, at least some confidence, in your ability to succeed and achieve your goal. Also, we cannot do it alone. We need help, and that's one of the great things that I love about the coaching community, and the things that I'm learning through this process. And in that decision, my last big decision that I made about, quitting the job where I have been for almost 30 years and going to another one, and, investing in my future. I sought the advice of the people that I trusted. I felt fairly confident, but in practicing and trying the habits, trying to put into practice the habits of confidence, I was bolder in I made a decision sooner without waiting, because my tendency in the past would have been, okay, wait. You wait a year and see, and save up your money so that you can afford to enroll in Brendan's, growth day and mastery classes, and get the training that you want from the people that you want. And I decided I don't want to wait. I've been waiting, and I have the sense of urgency now to go. I have a clear idea of what I want to do, and my purpose, and I am drawn to it, and I don't want to wait. And so I took the bold move and was was more confident, at least in my behavior, than and in my action, than I felt in my gut or in my mind, because I second guessed myself. But we're all working on things. And when I communicated to my friend that I wanted his input and an opinion on this move, I maybe was a little bit too confident, and he's like, in his mind, he felt like, it sounds like you've already made the decision. What is it that I can offer? And that's what he read. That may not have been what I was trying to say, but that's what he read, and that's what's important, is how he received what I was communicating. And so that created a little bit of an issue, because my confidence, my dominant type of personality or attitude, to him was received as he's like, you've already made up your mind. You're not open to any suggestion because you've already said, I've made up my mind. So he's like, maybe I got my pride in the way, but it's like, I wasn't going, I just like, and I think you should, before, if I were you, I would seek the advice of those people who are wise and who only want what's best for you and who love you. And I'm like, what I heard from him is, I'm not going to give you my opinion on this, because I don't think you should make this decision by yourself. You need to ask your father. You need to get your father's opinion. Are you sure that you have all the information? Are you sure this is the best decision? And so then I started to doubt myself and my decision. And even though I was fairly confident about the decision, I don't make any decision, especially a big decision, without a lot of research. Anybody that knows me knows that I research sometimes too much, but I definitely do my due diligence, and I also will seek the advice of the experts. And then even, and it's a practice I do at work, because I work in the medical field, and I work long shifts, and sometimes there's so it there's so much stress around it, and I'm so busy that it's really easy to miss things. And so I always ask for, if I'm having a difficulty or I keep finding myself running into a barrier, or before I do a big procedure or something like that, I will ask a coworker or ask someone with more uh, experience or knowledge on a certain procedure or something. I think I've got everything that I need. I think I've put everything in place. Can you come back behind me and check my work and make sure that I'm not missing something? Or if I'm having difficulty with something and I can't get it to work, I'm like, what am I missing? Am I doing everything right, or am I seeing this right? Is this, I always want someone to, a second set of eyes, and sometimes a third, because I, what I am doing can have horrible results. I'm trying to help sick babies get better, and I don't want to cause them harm, so I'm very careful. And then especially in my life, if it's a big decision, I really do the research, and I really want as much input as possible, because I have now, I feel like I have a support group, and I am in my personal life trying to have that same type of attitude. As I do need help. I do want, I, at times, and I do want to just a second set of eyes to make sure I'm on the right track. Um, because I'm a little bit unsure about this big decision. And is there anything that you can add? Um, but I also don't want to second guess myself into not moving. Well, I was a little bit, the way that I presented to him, or how he received, was that I've made my decision anyway, and so it really doesn't, I'm just letting you know that this is what I'm going to do. What do you think about it? But it doesn't matter what you think about it, because I've already made the decision. And so he kind of let his pride get in the way, and he admitted this. We talked about this. He let his pride get in the way, and it's like, well, I really, if you would have asked me before you made the decision, I I I really don't know, as I really don't feel that I am the expert, and maybe you should talk to your dad, because he has more experience and wisdom on that. But instead, what he did, because he got prideful, and he, like I said, he let his man pride of being the uh, you know, and wanting the woman in his life to be submissive and come to him and ask for guidance, he shut down. And he got short. And not short in an ugly way. He just didn't tell me what he thought of it. I think that you should ask, the people who are wise, who love you and only want the best. What I heard may not have been his intention, but what I heard was, you are not capable of making this kind of decision by yourself. And so I got defensive, and I doubled down. Well, it doesn't matter what my dad says. I made the decision. You don't think I am a 52-year-old woman. You don't think that I am capable of making this kind of decision on my own. I have supported myself since I was 18. I don't need my father's blessing. And I doubled down and I dug my feet in. And it's like, but I really do want my father's blessing. And I really do want my dad to help me and to help me in that maybe I'm not seeing something, and so just talking it through. He may agree with me, and actually he did when I talked to him. He did agree with me, and it's like, no, you have already considered all of the pros and cons. What's the worst case scenario if you don't move, and what's the worst case scenario if you do move, you know. But what the conversation tonight resulted in is that I realized that I need to really, I really need to learn how to not assume that the person that I am talking to deduces or comes to the same conclusions that I do, or makes the same assumptions that I do, or reads nonverbal communication that I may be giving in the way that I am intending it to be heard. And clarity and concise communication is something that takes time and effort, because it's not just communicating in a way that you understand, it's communicating in a way that the person that you want to give information to is receiving the information that you want to give. And when they say, I've got it, not to stop there, to say, okay, what is it that you get? And have them communicate to you exactly what they heard. Because oftentimes, exactly what they heard is not exactly what you said. Oftentimes, there's non-verbal communication that happens, and even the non-verbal communication communicates the wrong thing. And I don't mean wrong, I mean it communicates to the person receiving something that the person sending did not intend. And so we need to, I say we need to, and I need to stop saying that. I really feel, for me especially, I really feel that it is important to do this closed loop communication type thing over and over again, and also be very aware of the emotional reactions and assumptions that we have based on nonverbal communication, and then be aware of how our reaction and interpretation of that nonverbal communication colors our mood and mindset, and then affects our nonverbal communication and how we actually, two people, can actually get ourselves so worked up and trying to be heard that we fail to listen and understand what the other person is trying to say. And I recall in that conversation when I immediately got defensive because I could tell he closed down. His body language changed. We happened to be laying in bed when we started the conversation. He didn't. We didn't break. Or we still had a connection, but he turned his back to me, and he was quiet. And I, certain things I could tell he felt a certain way, and in the way that he spoke, certain way. He admitted that tonight, that's how his pride got in the way, and so he then didn't, because he didn't see me as being vulnerable, which he doesn't respond to. He responds to vulnerability, and I responded to, I got defensive because I was feeling vulnerable, even coming to ask for his input on it. I felt vulnerable, but because I feel safe with him, I felt comfortable coming to him when I felt vulnerable, but I was at the same time trying to practice the habits of being confident. And so it came across as something other than. And so when I felt that he didn't think that I was capable of making that decision, I dug my feet and got defensive, and that's how I responded, which did not have the best effect. We didn't fight or anything like that, but and we got over it, but apparently it was something that he ruminated over, and he's like, this is the reason why I don't think we're compatible, because you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable with me. And he says, I love how strong of a woman you are. You've been put into situations where you've had to be strong and independent. He says, but I am the type of man. He says, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. He's like, but I want to be in a relationship with a woman who is submissive and vulnerable and comes to me for guidance. We're dancers. And he's like, I don't want to dance with a woman who wants to lead. I want to dance with a woman who wants to follow. And actually, we have danced together, and there has been some miscommunication, and I've missed some leads. And we like to use dance as a reference. I use dance as a reference all the time for so many things, because there's so many parallels to life and communication and relationships through dance. And he as well uses it. And so he's like, if I want to become, if I want to accelerate, and I want to move to the next level and and go from a beginner to an intermediate to an advanced level dancer, and in a particular style, he's like, I don't, it would be counterintuitive for me to be partnered up with someone who wants to dance a different style, or to be partnered up with someone who wants to lead. And I said, I agree. I said, using your analogy, I am a follow who also wants to get better at following, because at times I don't realize that I'm actually backleading, or I am anticipating, and so I am moving before I am led. But I'm unaware of it. And the only way that I can become aware of it is to say, hey, for my lead, to say, hey, wait until I lead you into that turn, because you're turning a little bit too soon, or you are anticipating that I want to turn when maybe I want to do a different pattern that I have to prep the same way before a turn. And I need that feedback. Also, there have been times, though, because dance and communication goes two ways. And if you're wanting to get better because you are a beginner or an intermediate and you want to go to advanced, that means that you don't know it all yet. And you too have mistakes. And that could be you aren't on some patterns because you don't know them as well. Maybe you are not as clear at giving your lead cues as you think you are. Because if you are dancing with a good follow who usually gets all of your other lead cues and she misses one, it's not her fault. It is your fault. If you have any experience with dance, all of your dance instructors would say, if the partnership looks good, it's the follow that you need to give credit to. If it looks bad, it is the lead's fault. Because they always say a good lead can even make a bad follow look good, because they are so clear in their communication that they can lead you into any pattern. I have myself danced with some amazing leads that I did patterns and things that I had never done before, but they were so clear in their communication of what they expected of me, and they did it in such a timely manner that I didn't even know I was being led. At the same time, I have been told that I am an extremely good follow because I pay attention, pay very close attention to the cues, and I create the connection where it might be lacking so that I can hear what they're trying to communicate, but that I also adjust myself to my lead, to where even if they are not quite communicating clearly, I have enough experience with the dance and with the pattern that I still know what it is that they're trying to communicate and want me to do. So even though they led it incorrectly, I do what they wanted me to do, which gives them confidence, and they stand a little bit taller, which then makes our connection better. And then because they get comfortable with me and how I follow them, then they're more open to when I communicate. I know that I did that because I knew that's what you wanted to do, but I didn't, you didn't lead it. And then I will say, this is how it's supposed to feel. This is what I am supposed to get from you to tell me that. The same way as I can tell them, you changed your mind, and so it was unclear. If you start a pattern, you have to commit and go through, because if you change your mind in the middle, it's too late for me to get that cue and time for me to do the move, because I could never lead, because they have to know what they're going to do 3 or more steps ahead, while at the same time they're thinking about what they want to do next. They have to tell me and give me the lead for it at least half a beat before they want me to do it, so that when I actually do it, it is on time. While at the same time, they have to keep their feet on time. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to be a lead, and I understand that. And so we use that dance analogy together, and he's like, it's just too hard. He was talking about how he says it comes up. He brings it. We've known each other for over 3 years, but we've been working and doing this growing relationship, communicating, getting to know each other, taking for 6 months now. And at the beginning, there was a little bit of miscommunication, and pulls back, and we both have things that we need to work on. But he keeps referencing, he's like, see, this is a recurring problem. And I had, we talked very honestly, and I'm like, so can I ask you, have you not seen any of that vulnerability and that you were talking about, saying that it's important to you? Have you not seen that? Because I told him, it's like, I'm not really confident. I've had to fake it. You get that because that's what I want you to get, but that's not how I feel. I have been an independent woman. I've been in management and had to teach people and been responsible for, and I've had to be confident, and I've had to make decisions, and I've had to be a role model even when I was insecure. And so I've gotten really good at faking it until you can make it. The thing is I really am tired of that, because I want somebody else to make the decision. That's the reason why I love dance, because I am a follow, and I don't want to have to make the decision. I just want to feel safe and know that my partner is going to lead me in the right direction and is going to keep me safe from running into anyone or stepping on my toe. And all I have to do is let go and be open to communicate and follow his lead. And that's what I want in life, because I am so tired of making those decisions that I have been forced to, and I was a single parent. I raised my nephews on my own, and they weren't my children, but I felt responsible, and I didn't want them to go into the foster care system. And so I did it. And I didn't necessarily want to be the person that my family came to for help and all the time, but I did it, and so I didn't want to be in relationships where I was the breadwinner and I paid the bills, but that's the situation that I was in, and so I did it. And all I want is to be able to say, can I please just rest a little bit? Can you make the decisions? but I haven't been in a position to be able to be vulnerable, so I'm not very good at it, even though that's really, really what I want. Um, because I'm not comfortable being the one to make all the decisions. I'm just not. I want to be the submissive wife. Not submissive in that I want you to walk all over me and take advantage of me. Submissive in I want to be your helper and your partner, but at the end of the day, I trust you to make the right decisions, please, that are going to be the best for us and our family and our household. I trust you. That's the reason why I chose you. Anyways, I'm not very good at communicating that yet. I'm getting better. And that's was my point. We used dance as the analogy, and I said, so anything that's challenging makes us grow, makes us better. And if it's easy, it's not as challenging. We may still grow with practice, but we're not going to grow as fast. And how much better is it to work with someone who wants to improve and can say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to lead there, or I know I missed that lead. What did I do wrong? What was it that you were trying to do? Because I wasn't clearly communicated, and so then I can give feedback so that my lead can be a better lead, and that's my analogy is to him as far as relationships. Is like we are in this dance where we are learning, and both of us want to improve, and both of us are going to mess up. And if you continue to think that because every once in a while I miss a cue, or every once in a while I anticipate and start to turn without you leading, it's not because I want to lead. Understand that sometimes I'm going to mess up because I don't know yet, or I'm still learning, and so I'm learning, so I'm going to forget sometimes. And that doesn't mean that I want to lead. It just means I am still growing, but I want to grow. And that also means that it's not all my fault. You're improving too. You're trying to make changes too. You may fail or fall or mess up and make a mistake from time to time too. You may not clearly communicate. And I'm going to challenge you to communicate better. Communicate your lead better. Or communicate with me in the language that I communicate in. And I just I feel like he's put in my life to challenge me and make me better. He definitely is in so many different areas of my life. And I am dealing with my frustration of the irony of how he in every other area of his life He wants the challenge because he knows that the challenge is what makes him better, except for his romantic relationships where he wants it all to be easy, and if it's challenging, he's out. And mind you, we have never fought. We've never fought in anger or anything. We have had disagreements. We have had some conflict, and we talk it through, and sometimes we get we get in our feelings and they're hurt, and sometimes we need to take some time and reflect, and then a day or two later we come back and say, this is what I was feeling, this is how I felt, this is how I feel, this is what I heard. Is this what you said? No, that's not what I said. That's what you said. No, that's what you heard. And then we will do this talking back and forth, and we will realize, okay, I did get a little defensive, and okay, maybe I should have not been so prideful and said, I'm not real comfortable in that area. But and done that, and we do that talking back and forth, and then we come to an understanding. We learn better, we try, we now know what, and we understand each other, and so we're not as upset about what it was that we were upset, and we have a better understanding all around, not only of how we can better communicate with you and in the way that you understand, but how we can better communicate what we need in order to be able to understand you. And it's been good, and we've grown. But that's to him, he says, I don't want to have that kind of what did he say? That just that's a lot of time. He says, I feel like, he says, in the past he's had relationships where they were more submissive, and so there wasn't that conflict, and I didn't feel bad, and I don't want to feel bad. I want to, and I'm like, well, I understand not wanting conflict. Nobody likes conflict. But if we're not challenged, we don't grow. And any successful relationship takes work. And that's what I want. I want a relationship that challenges me, that inspires me to grow, that makes me think about my actions and how my actions are affecting someone else. And I want that. I want a challenge in a good way. I don't want somebody who challenges me in the way that, like, they are questioning me, or they don't have confidence in me, that kind of challenge, or somebody who makes me sad or makes me feel like I have to diminish myself or dim my light, or walk on eggshells. I don't want that. I also don't want complacency, to where you work so hard, in improving and being your best self, and being interested when you're dating. Everything's new and exciting, and you're really interested in what they have to say, and you listen, and you're turned on, and then you get comfortable and you get lazy, and you stop asking how the day was, and you don't get so dressed up, and you're not working out so much, so you get a little bit of a beer belly, and it's like, and I love you too, out the door, not even looking, a peck in the face, or how was your day, babe, and when you're still looking at your phone. That's not what I want. I don't want complacency and mediocrity. I want constant growth and challenge and excitement, and I want someone who is truly present with me and who is excited by me and who I'm excited by, and that same excitement and newness and passion that is at the beginning, we need to continue to do things, or I want a relationship where we continue to do those things and challenge each other and push each other and excite each other, and that is still important to us, because in the same way that I want to have a career that brings me so much joy and happiness, where I am able to be a role model, to be an influence, to help someone, that I would do it for little to no money, but because I love doing it and I have that passion for it, that energy makes it possible for me to be able to support myself and live well in abundance, that I don't have to have a second job in order to support that. And they say, find something that you love to do and you will never work again in your life. And I'm not afraid of the work, and that's how it is in what I want for my relationship is, I want the work. I want the challenge. I want that excitement. I want that passion. I don't want to become complacent in my relationship, in my romantic relationship, or in my friendships, or even in my work. I don't want for things to be mundane, where things I stagnate. I become stagnant, and I am no longer inspired to learn. Or where I feel like I'm at the top of my game and there's no other way to improve. That's not what I want. I'm going to be constantly learning and adding to my tool belt at work, in life, in my relationships. I want to be a better communicator. I want to love more. I want to influence more and create more. I want to do better constantly. Learn how to. I want to understand. I want to understand more. I want to understand people more, because if I'm constant, it's like, yes, I want to surround myself with people who are of like mind, and that they also have a passion for self-improvement. They have a passion to be of service and to help people and problem solving, and are not those that want to complain all the time and complain and complain and complain, but never want about how things are so wrong, so broken, but never want to think about a possible solution, or how can I make the situation better. Of course, that I do, but at some point, all of these great minds who want to do better and do more and help people have to actually go out and help people, not just talk about it. And the thing is sometimes, no, not sometimes, in order to help someone improve, it means that they're not good at it yet. And it may take some time before they get good at it and learn the skill that you want to empower. And so you have to be patient. And he's like, yeah, but how much more can you um, how much more can you achieve if you've got a whole bunch of people who think like you do? And I'm like, well, yes, you can achieve more, but how much more growth can you have when you start to understand people who don't think like you do? And how much more of an impact can you have if you understand people who, why people have come to their conclusions or why they think differently than you, then you can have more grace and understanding and maybe find a way to help them grow, because now you have an understanding of where they're coming from, what their needs are, and how you can best serve them. And that requires sometimes being around people who don't communicate the way you do, but they want to improve. And so that's going to require work on our part. It's not just, oh, here I am, this is what you need to do, go, be well, be happy, and get it. Now on to the next, because I want to help as many people as possible, so you better get it the first time, because I need to move on. We need to be very efficient in this. And my approach is, if you are doing the work, you're willing to do the work because you really have a desire to grow, then I want to do as much as I can to help you achieve your goals. And if that means that I've got to learn a new skill to be able to communicate with you to help you get there, then I'm going to do it. And if it takes me a year to get that, but once you get it, your trajectory goes like this. It's like, that is, I'm getting goosebumps right now. That is what I want. And how much more rewarding is it to see someone work so hard to think that they are never going to get it, and for you to work so hard to accomplish something that you didn't give up on someone who wanted it so badly, wanted to grow so badly, and they were putting in the effort. And it's like, I want to put in that effort for you. I want people to know that I want you to succeed as badly as you want to succeed, and I want to do whatever I can and learn and be in order to help you do that. Because if I'm having to learn a new skill in order, or improve my skill in order to help you get to where you need to be, you have helped me be more for the next person, and to be aware to where I now have a skill set that I can help someone that I couldn't have helped before that person came into my life and I had to work. If it's easy and not challenging, I may be able to help some people. But if I've already got it all figured out, how am I growing? If I already think that I'm where I need to be, how am I growing? And if I'm not growing, how can I be of more, how can I be better? Because I don't, I want to be the best version, most authentic Lorraine that I can be. And I want to grow. I can't grow if I'm satisfied with where I am. Unless I only want to grow to a certain amount. I only want to get to good enough. I don't want to get comfortable. I don't want to stay in that comfortable state, that comfortable life. I want to get there and be comfortable for a little bit and take a breather and like, okay, but now I want to get charged and I want to move ahead and I want to go to the next level and I want to evolve. I want to evolve. I already know I don't want to stay in that cage. I know I don't want to stay in that cage. So I don't know. And you know, the thing is I'm talking it out. I'm talking it out, and I don't know. Maybe somebody else feels the way I feel too, you know, and I'm trying to find the balance, and this relationship is one that it's been the most challenging in a good way, as far as it's been challenging, and I have leveled up in so many ways, and it's intoxicating to have someone who does that for you and who is your cheerleader and you know wants the best for you. It is also an emotional roller coaster as they're going through their changes, to see them get to the point of change and growth and then get scared. And it's like, oh, but I want to go back to where I'm comfortable for, because I've not ever experienced this before, and it is uncomfortable, but it also feels really good. But I'm afraid, because this next level means that I've got to be more vulnerable with you, and I've got to show you my ugly spots, and I'm not comfortable with my ugly spots yet. I'm not comfortable with my own ugly spots. I can't show you. And it's like, I recognize that. And it's like, I can step back and go, okay, take your break, take your break, you know? And the thing is, this is the other thing that has happened it's happened in this growth that he was a catalyst for, and helping, waking me up, is that I am very, very intentionally being present. I'm not going to punish someone for things that have happened in past relationships, and because this happened to me, you must be doing that. I'm not going to do that. I refuse to get stuck in well, this happened to me, so, that's the reason why I'm insecure here. No, I'm moving past that. Yes, that happened to me, but that is no longer happening to me, and I refuse to stay in the past. The other thing is, I refuse to let the fear of what might happen in the future cause me stress and to worry and not be present in the joy that is happening right now. Because right now, I am inspired, I am challenged, I feel seen, I feel heard, I am I am turned on mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, and I am having fun, and I am enjoying this, and I smile, and I'm happy. So I don't want to waste this happiness for what might happen. You might get hit, they might get hit by a bus tomorrow, and then they wouldn't be there. Nobody can promise you forever. So I'm not expecting forever. It's just as long as it is good, as long as I am happy, as long as you are happy, as long as we are not stepping on each other's happiness, as long as you are not having to sacrifice your happiness for mine and vice versa. Let's be present in the moment, and one day at a time. We're going to one day at a time. And if tomorrow I was like, nope, I can't do this, I don't want to see you again, will I be disappointed? Yes. Will I be sad? Yes, and I will give it the respect. Will I love you less? No, because I respect you having your boundaries and saying, I'm not ready for this, or this is not what I want, or I'm not happy. And I want you to be happy. Same way with me. If I find myself not feeling like I can be my authentic self, and I am no longer, I'm doing things in order to make you happy, but it doesn't make me happy, then I will walk away. Because I don't want to step on anybody's happiness, but I also am no longer going to be prioritizing somebody else's happiness over mine. I refuse to do it. Did it for too long. And I can love someone and still say, be happy, but be happy someplace else. Thank you for letting me ramble, and I don't know, I don't know what will come of this, except for the fact that I feel better because I am not sitting here and getting myself into a negative headspace, because that's one of the reasons why I'm like, I'm going to make a video and I'm going to post it here, because I needed to let go of some of the negative mind space that I was in, where I was becoming less motivated to do this, because this is what I want to do, and as much as I want that relationship, I want this more. I want to be of service, and I want to be better, and I don't want to fall into old habits. I don't want to backslide. And if you're not ready, if they're not ready, then they're not ready. And when they are, if they are, I'm I'm still gonna be here. I'm still, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna love them. I may not be in a position to have a relationship with them because I moved on, but I'm still gonna love you and want the best for you, and I'll be here. You know, that's what it is. Um, but oh my goodness, all of a sudden I got really, really stopped up. But I have yammered on for an hour now. I apologize for the time, but thank you for the time.